One thing I do want to talk about is Stranger Things. Stranger Things season 4 to me was an incredibly pleasant surprise. Of course, the mainstream media, like you see here, the thing they are going to focus on is apparently we need to worry about what this magnificent show's young stars, what their character sexuality are. Instead of what an absolutely fantastic show this was. Now, I'm not going to read this thing. There are 16 main characters and several new characters in season 4. It is a fast-moving, jumping story where the characters are in fact separated, but the storylines are interconnected and woven over the first part of the season, which, if I remember, I think is it 7 or 8 episodes?
It's 7. And Salty, I just got to say, it's one of the best shows I've seen since the last Cobra Kai season. I'm going to say that right now, especially the first 4 episodes. They blew my mind.
But aren't we going to talk about who these children would have sex with? We're not talking about that tonight. No.
Well, that's why I got rid of the Variety article. And
good idea.
You know, again, where they go with these narratives. You know, I sat there and watched 7 episodes of television. Now, unlike Disney, these are not half-hour episodes. Some of these were like an hour and 40 minutes for each episode. And there are multiple episodes that are almost like watching a movie. And Gray, was that your experience too, where you look up and you're like, wow, this is long, but not in a bad way. And you realize you still have 40 minutes left of an episode. And it's wonderful to just be completely immersed in what's going on. But at no time did it ever feel slow at all.
I mean, we've got Rick Silver in the chat saying it's kind of boring in his opinion. I tell you what, mate, try watching Kenobi if you want boring. Just saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, and again, nobody is harshing on anybody. You know, it's like so many other things. I'm not a subscriber to Netflix. I'm watching it through alternate means. I'm just going to say that. And it doesn't change my opinion of the company. But at the same point, the Duffer Brothers, to me, hit it out of the park. It was one of the cleanest, best stories I've ever seen. And I actually started to care about these characters more than I have since season 1. Just season 2, season 3. But I care about them just as much, if not more, as I did in the very beginning. And that's a major accomplishment, considering it's not the same sort of recycled storyline that they went with for the first 3 episodes.
Oh, yeah. I'm just halfway through episode 7, which is the 90-minute episode, which is pretty intense. And I've really enjoyed it. And I wasn't a big fan. I didn't like season 2 really at all. Wasn't a big fan of season 3. And to me, they really pulled it out season 4. And like you said, I care about these characters, and one of them was in severe peril. And I wanted them to pull through. Like I actually was pulling for them, which I haven't done on TV for quite a while, really.
And those of us who have seen it know exactly what you're talking about. And I thought they were gonna get that character. I thought they were gonna take him out right before. Anyway, we won't get into spoilers on this one. We will probably talk spoilers next week. Purple Valkyrie, we're also trying not to spoil it for you because you haven't seen this.
Yes, I'm still playing catch up at the moment. Getting through season 3, so I was starting season 4 ASAP. But it really did make me smile to see you guys having so much fun with this show. It is so good to hear people praising something for a change.
And I keep saying this, we don't want to rage farm. We don't want to hate on everything. We really want to like good things, but we're not just going to like something because we're told to consume it. And maybe it's generational, maybe it's you know, depending on your level of fandom and engagement, you know, maybe that's a variable in it. But Stranger Things was a incredibly well-written story, in my opinion. And I know people in chat, again, if you don't like it, that's totally cool. I mean, it really is, but I was blown away.
What made it really stand out, Salties? I came to this after watching, was it Moon Knight? I watched a little bit of Kenobi, Boba Fett, and then I started watching Stranger Things. I'll give it 1 episode, see how it goes. 4 episodes later, I'm just like, this is unbelievable. It scuppered my plans to go and watch Top Gun. I was going to go and see Top Gun Maverick, which I can't wait to see, by the way.
I know, me too.
I lost a weekend to it, but yeah, it's great storytelling. It's great plot threads. They've got like multiple plots going on at the same time, and they all make sense, if that makes sense. Man, it just took me, it pulled me right in with really good acting as well.
And the other thing too is it's more like watching a slow burn, long haul horror movie with elements of science fiction in it. And not only that, but there's also thriller in this. It's kind of a wild homage to virtually every horror movie from the 80s and early 90s, as well as kind of maybe the action hero movies of the 80s as well. And that's kind of what for me kind of drove it. There was a little bit in the nostalgia, but I never felt like member berries. I was actually engaged in it. The other thing too is it's refreshing not to see a Mary Sue, and the character that was arguably the Mary Sue for the last couple of episodes has none of her powers. And not only that, but is having a very difficult time. They captured the brutality of girls in high school in the 80s perfectly. As someone who went to high school in the 80s, watching all that stuff, it was, yeah, it really was like that, guys. For those of you who might not have been there, there was a tremendous amount of cruelty. But
yes,
yeah.
I can imagine. Yes, girls can be quite mean,
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
I love that you guys talk about, you know, they captured the essence of the 80s, but without it being corny. And I'm really impressed with how they did that. I remember the first season, and even, you know, down to the way the houses were decorated. It's like, yes, this is the 80s.
Yes. Yeah, the little details, like you say, the backgrounds, the music, Salty. We raved about the music, the soundtrack, and the choice of songs during our live stream the other day. But how good were the choices of music, and how much of an important part does music play in the story?
In the deep cuts, I mean, they had Kate Bush, they had the Cramps, they actually had some of the cinematic score from War Games. Remember that Matthew Broderick movie from, I think, '86?
Mm-hmm.
They really went deep on it. Yeah. There are very few perfect things, you know, and perfect is the enemy of good. In the case of Stranger Things, though, I try to be really acutely aware of how all of the really terrible, dumbed-down entertainment we've been given for the last couple of years, that it's not lowering my standards, that, you know, I'm not going to be suckered in by the grinding down of what my expectations are as far as good writing and good storytelling and good cinematography. And Stranger Things was one of the first ones where I kept waiting for the woke and for the intersectional and for the, you know, insert the things that we all talk about. It didn't happen. It never happened. Has ever? This is Salty Texas Sea. I am Corey DB. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you've seen and heard, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you on board. That way you know, and we have things like live streams, which we are going to be doing every Tuesday evening. Take care. I hope you're having a great 2022.